Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. When we think of the Indian Ocean, we usually picture, those idyllic Maldives bungalows or the beautiful sunny shores of Madagascar. But beneath those postcard-perfect surfaces lies a sheer geological marvel. We're talking about an area absolutely packed with unbelievable extremes, bizarre creatures, and deep, dark mysteries that scientists are honestly only just beginning to unravel.
So here is our roadmap for this explainer. First, we'll look at the ocean of extremes, then human history and exploration, followed by vibrant marine life, geological secrets and anomalies, and finally, we'll dive into some modern mysteries and threats. Let's get right to it.
Section 1. The Ocean of Extremes.
To start us off, the Indian Ocean is the third largest ocean on our planet, and it swallows up a massive 20% of Earth's entire water surface. Think about that for a second. Literally 1/5 of all the water on our globe belongs to this single ocean, neatly bounded by Africa, Asia, Australia, and Antarctica.
And that 20%? Well, it equates to exactly 76.17 million square kilometers. To put that into perspective, that is a volume roughly 12,000 times greater than Lake Baikal, which just so happens to be the largest freshwater body on Earth. At its widest point, stretching from the southern tip of Africa all the way over to Australia, you're looking at a span of water about 10,000 kilometers wide.
If you want another way to visualize that insane scale, the Indian Ocean is big enough to fit 5 Russias, 8 USAs, or a staggering 1,840 Switzerlands inside of it. Its waters wash the shores of 4 separate continents and 39 independent countries. So yeah, it's a truly global giant.
Beyond just its sheer size, this ocean is quite literally a collection of planetary moats. It claims the world's largest bay, the Bay of Bengal, which is so huge it honestly rivals entire seas. It's got the world's longest strait, the Mozambique Channel, stretching out for 1,760 kilometers. It is also home to Madagascar, the world's largest country occupying a single island, and Java, the most populated island on the planet. Oh, and it holds the saltiest sea in the world, the Red Sea. In fact, because not a single river flows into the Red Sea, it would have actually completely dried up by now if the Indian Ocean's replenishing waters weren't constantly flowing into it.
But what really drives how this massive body of water behaves are the monsoons. They violently dictate the climate here. In the northern part of the basin, you get this stark contrast. You have a warm, dry, sunny winter, which is then immediately followed by a hot, cloudy, rainy, and incredibly stormy summer. This intense wind shift actually changes the direction of the surface water depending on the season, making the northern Indian Ocean the only region in the entire world ocean with such a clear, dramatic seasonal change of its currents.
Moving on to Section 2, Human History and Exploration.
This ocean has been a superhighway for millennia. Tracing human exploration back 40 to 50,000 years ago, primitive humans first crossed these waters, likely becoming the very first settlers to reach Australia from Asia. Its shores nurtured some of the earliest river civilizations, like Mesopotamia and the Harappan civilization. Fast forward to the late 13th century, and Marco Polo becomes the first European to cross it. Then came the famous European explorers charting these treacherous waters. You had Vasco da Gama opening the sea route to India in the 15th century, Abel Tasman exploring the center in 1642, and James Cook approaching Western Australia in 1772. It's an ocean that has genuinely, fundamentally shaped human history.
Up next, Section 3, Vibrant Marine Life.
So, despite its daunting size, the relatively warm average temperature of the Indian Ocean creates an incredibly hospitable environment, making it the most heavily populated water space on Earth. It is absolutely bursting with life. We're talking intricate, colorful coral reefs, sheltering glowing anchovies, and land-walking mudskippers that just thrive right there in the coastal mangroves. Head down to the freezing southern waters, and you'll find bizarre white-blooded icefish. Up in the tropics, you'll spot rare dugongs, massive manta rays, and incredibly venomous sea snakes. Now, I do have to playfully point out that it also accounts for the highest number of shark attacks in the world, though it's still really only a few cases a year. So, please don't increase that statistic if you decide to go for a swim.
Beyond just the animals, the ocean itself actually puts on a show. Eyewitnesses have reported bizarre, massive glowing circles right on the water's surface, which are likely caused by dense colonies of bioluminescent microorganisms. And if you look near the island of Mauritius, there's this breathtaking optical illusion of an underwater waterfall. Actually, scratch that, it's not water at all, it's a sandfall of sand continuously streaming down the slopes of an underwater mountain. It honestly looks like the ocean floor is literally caving in.
Let's dive into Section 4, Geological Secrets and Anomalies.
The Indian Ocean is relatively young in geological terms. It formed roughly 120 to 140 million years ago when the supercontinent Gondwana split apart. But as we dive deeper, all the way down to its maximum depth in the 7,729 meters Sunda Trench, the ocean reveals its most profound secrets. Okay, here's a thrilling scientific twist for you. We all know the story of the asteroid that hit Mexico and wiped out the dinosaurs, right? While researchers have found a huge mysterious basin near modern-day India that suggests a massive, 65-million-year-old asteroid crater. It raises a fascinating question. Were the dinosaurs actually hit twice? The second crater could have been the real trigger for the climate shift that caused their extinction.
Even crazier than ancient asteroids, science shows us the ocean is still evolving right now. A recent French-Australian study at the Kerguelen Islands discovered granitic magma forming right in the middle of the ocean. Usually, this kind of thing only happens where tectonic plates are crashing together. This suggests a brand new continent embryo is literally being born as we speak. We just have to wait, a few million years for it to officially become Earth's newest landmass.
Deep in the rift valleys of the Red Sea, we find these bizarre geological phenomena called smokers. Here is how this crazy process works. First, seawater gets sucked down into deep cracks in the Earth's crust. Then, it superheats to over 400 degrees Celsius and becomes completely saturated with metals like iron and copper. Finally, that superheated water shoots back up and seeps into the freezing ocean water.
And just to clarify here, because it kind of sounds like something else entirely, the only difference between these famous black and white smokers simply comes down to temperature. If the blistering, metal-rich water erupts at over 400 degrees Celsius, it creates a black smoker. But if it cools down just a bit to below 300 degrees, it creates a white smoker. It is essentially like a giant, underwater, heavy metal geyser.
Finally, Section 5, Modern Mysteries and Threats.
Despite all our modern technology, the Indian Ocean's immense, raw power continues to challenge us today. Move over Bermuda Triangle. The Indian Ocean has its very own version, widely known as the Death Pocket. In this specific, mysterious area, numerous ships have vanished entirely. And terrifyingly, some have been found just drifting aimlessly with absolutely no crew on board. Submarines and aircraft have completely disappeared here too. Maybe it's pirates, maybe it's sudden catastrophic weather, or maybe it's something science simply doesn't understand yet.
One really solid scientific explanation for those disappearing ships is the terrifying phenomenon of rogue waves, or caprollers. The Indian Ocean actually records more of these killer waves than any other ocean. These are solitary, towering walls of water reaching 15 to 20 meters high that just appear out of nowhere. To give you an idea of their devastating power, back in 1968, a massive American supertanker called the World Glory encountered a caproller. The wave literally snapped the gigantic steel ship completely in half. No way around it, that is terrifying.
And of course, we also have to consider both human-made and natural tragedies. Because the Persian Gulf is the world's main oil exporting region, the Indian Ocean sees a massive amount of oil transport, which, unfortunately, leads to devastating spills. Combined with natural horrors like the 2004 magnitude 9.3 earthquake, which triggered the most destructive tsunami in recorded history and claimed roughly 300,000 lives, this is an ocean that absolutely demands our ultimate respect.
We've covered its massive size, its vibrant life, the birth of new continents, and its sheer, terrifying power. But the Indian Ocean is so incredibly vast that its depths are still largely unmapped. Which leaves us with this final, provocative thought. If we've already found lost asteroid craters, alien-like smokers, and baby continents, how many more secrets are just waiting to be uncovered right now in the dark, unexplored depths of the world's champion ocean? Science never stands still, so keep your curiosity sharp, because the ocean certainly isn't finished surprising us yet. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.